In ancient Greek mythology, the griffins were said to be the hounds of Zeus. Half eagle, half lion, the beasts have guarded great treasures throughout time.
Right. Did anyone see Will Smith get contracted by Dana White last night?
I saw the slap. That whole thing was weird. When I first saw it on the news, I was like, "Oh, it's like a joke or something, right?" And then, I, so it was. I saw it in a news article or a news, on Fox News this morning. And then after the commercial, like I just saw the initial slap. Then I see them cut to him after he slapped him, and he's screaming about keeping his wife's name out of his mouth. And
Yeah.
I was like, "Holy shit!" So yeah, that was nuts. That's a crazy Oscar moment. I don't know. I don't know who I agree with. I guess it's not good to slap people, but making an alopecia joke or something probably isn't very tasteful either. So
If I was going to make a joke, I would most definitely talk about her having an open relationship and basically demasculating the man from our childhood television shows in front of the entire public. That's probably the angle I would take. I wouldn't go after her hairdo, especially if it's genetic. But I also wouldn't hop on stage and slap the hell out of a comedian making a joke, right? Anyway, it seems like he's going through quite a bit. Just like a lot going on with him and his family internally. So everyone's got their breaking point, right?
yeah, the open relationship thing is weird. I wonder if that made him even more sensitive to anything about her.
Well, dude, he came up in the rap game, and like we all forget he was a rapper or at least a hip hop artist. And so I'm sure all his friends were just ragging on him for the past year and a half, and then not just that, but he came up in traditional media. But now we're in a state where Twitter and Instagram and the talking doesn't stop, right? So like it's probably never been over for him. We get to step away from his drama, but he doesn't get to step out of his life. So yeah, anyway, that's a thing that we're going to be talking about, I'm sure, for the next couple of days, and then we'll get back to the important stuff, like basically a genocide in Ukraine. That could probably be more of an important topic than Will Smith having some heat with Chris Rock.
Yeah, things continue to be pretty brutal over there. I saw they're really trying to get people out of Mariupol, just like shelling hospitals, and I think these Ukrainians put like children, like they wrote it in Russian, like giant letters,
Oh yeah,
in front of like a building, and it got bombed anyway, and just brutal stuff over there. So
yeah.
yeah,
I was watching
the
the Tim
Oscars
Dillon.
news will get pushed back.
Yeah, I was watching the most recent Tim Dillon podcast, and he was talking about like the media is not helping. The media like every day is like Russia's losing, and like Putin, like they're joking about assassinating Putin and all this stuff. Um, and then the next day they like shell the hell out of a city, civilian center. So he's like, you gotta maybe we just say you're winning. Maybe the media needs to start saying that Putin's winning so that he takes it easy. He's like, it's a little bit, it's like he's targeting civilian centers, all this garbage. It's really just nasty. But anyway, it's a funny podcast. I don't know why I brought up Tim Dillon, but anyway, about a few minutes in to probably get started um, with some internal news. We do have an exciting week ahead. We have several spaces lined up. We did get on Moon Roving's Lit Late Show, which is very exciting. We've been trying to get on his show for a little bit now. So we engaged the DAO. The DAO, you guys really helped. We have some of our members in here right now, and you helped get the word out, like that photo. And we will be on that show Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. So definitely join us there. We're going to be with, I think, 5 or 6 other collections on his panel. And he usually garners about 150 listeners at any given time in his spaces. So it's going to be a great opportunity for us to get the word out about Griffin, especially leading up to Thursday. And Thursday, of course, is March 31st. It's the end of the first quarter. And as an investment DAO, that's huge for us because that aligns with our first Solana airdrop. So as you guys know, we aggregate all community revenues into a treasury, and we invest through that treasury to mainly traditional equities. And then once a quarter, we reward our holders, our Griffin holders, with a Solana airdrop based on our earnings. Now, our first airdrop, since we just started investing, isn't necessarily based on our earnings. It's more of a proof of concept that the screenshot system works, that we can reward you, and you actually, as a holder, earn passive income by being associated and holding a Griffin. So Very excited for that. It's going to be definitely a larger return than your average investment portfolio or asset management firm. But we definitely want to reward the people that are here first with us. So thank you guys for being a part of that. I see some of you in the chat here, and also in the recording if you're listening to this later.
Yeah, just to jump in real quick. So on our books, mint sales actually does get recorded as revenue. So because on Thursday we're putting out all the financial statements, the portfolio statement, and so it is actually going to be we're going to record all of the mint sales as earnings. So the earnings will actually be pretty good. But the actual payout for these earnings is what, I guess it depends how you look at it. You could consider the mint sales as fundraising. And if you do that, then we're really paying earnings that we haven't really seen. But if you consider the mint sales as earnings for the DAO, then we've actually had great earnings and we'll be giving back a smaller percentage. Because again, for this first airdrop, we haven't really seen any revenue streams other than mint sales, and so we want to try to retain a lot of the funds that we raise through mint sales. So anyway, I'm sure we're going to go a lot deeper into it on Thursday, but I'm just excited. We finally do have the infrastructure in place to be placing investments. I was looking at the markets more this morning, and I kind of want to go into Discord maybe later today and see about pitching some other equities to the DAO members and see if anybody's interested in some of the ideas we have, because we still have a massive allocation of cash that we're looking to deploy. We swapped out of a good chunk of our SOL, but we may be, if we see other currencies or other, like if anyone's in the last space, there's a Kribata DAO on the AVAX chain. They have they're trying to deploy a subnet, and then the subnet for that game, which has, I think, hundreds of thousands of users, their subnet actually has a native token to that network. So even though it's a subnet of the Avalanche chain, for all transactions that are done on that subnet, you'll need this demand for this this Kribata token. So little things like that is a good example of a potential investment. I'm not saying we're buying that token necessarily, but we just have a lot of flexibility now that we can kind of transition cash either into crypto investments or back out to our brokerage account and get into traditional equities. So we're going to be looking to build out our portfolio starting today and then into this week. We'd like to deploy. We probably won't fully deploy all the cash we have before our portfolio statement is sent out on March 31st, but we will probably be in more investments by then. So anyway, I am very excited for Thursday's case and the financial statements that we're putting out on that day.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a big week. I think we definitely shouldn't underestimate. I know we tend to announce big weeks kind of often. It's probably a fault on my end that I try to be completely honest with you guys about the relevance of the events that we're taking part in. I don't try to overhype them, but I do catch myself occasionally falling into that Twitter trap of trying to, be a little bit more bombastic in my wording. But this week is a really big week for us. It kind of wraps up and ties everything in a bow with the whole process, right? You minted. Now this is the first quarter airdrop, so it kind of proves the system that by holding a Griffin, we actually will reward you in Solana. So not just that, but also we just started investing last week. So it is a really exciting time. And it feels, I don't know if you guys relate, but it feels like the market is also kind of experiencing a bit of a turnaround. I know we are positive on Bitcoin for the year. I think just over the last week, we're up like, what is it, like 16% or something on just Bitcoin alone. And past three markers in just a week, the price level. So it's some exciting stuff going on there. And just looking at the graphs, it kind of feels like we're turning around a little bit, and that's good for everyone. So some big news down the line that may be affecting this. I know Bitcoin Week is next week in Miami. There's a Bitcoin conference. We'll be at Solana Hacker House Tuesday the 5th. So I'm already talking to some collections out there that will be there and trying to network them before we arrive so we can have some conversations when we get there. But really, we're just looking to partner with collections that I think want to provide some more passive income to their communities. And the best way to do that is by purchasing Griffins, because if they hold them, they get that airdrop as well. And let's say they wanted to invest it for the community or they wanted to send it out to their community as kind of an airdrop. They can do whatever they want, but we offer not just on the individual level, but I think on the project level, we can provide a really good service to different collections that may be looking to provide more utility. So hopefully that's my goal when we get there, is to talk to collections that are looking for that kind of extra boost. Anyway, Particles NFT, we are still waiting on them. I'm going to send them another message, but if they don't get here, they're out on the West Coast. we'll just give a little bit more updates, and then I guess we can bounce out. But I'll go ahead and send the message, Austin. If you have any maybe financial news, anything you've seen in the markets you want to talk about, this is probably a good time. You can bring that up.
Yeah, you're true, or you're right about crypto's really seen a short term bounce recently. Been a little bit out of the loop on what may be driving that, but I guess more internally is where I've been focused, and we're gonna have a lot more information to come out Thursday. Um, so I maybe don't want to drone on too long about what we're going to be releasing because we do need to finish up some. Matt and I have a dog in the same house going off, but we are going to be putting together these financial reports in the next few days, and like I said, building out a portfolio. The biggest thing I guess I want to stress is that the more we look into our project, the more we don't just want Griffins to be seen as an investment vehicle, because while that's great and that is part of our value proposition for our holders, we're trying to bring a lot of value in the form of community. We want Griffin Investments DAO. We want it to be, if not prestigious to be a member, at least you see it as a valuable space to interact with other members, to gain alpha, as some people say, and not just in different crypto plays, but just in general investments. Sorry, I'm getting hounded by a couple dogs here. But no, so this week I honestly am not very well read on the most up to date financial news. Personally, been a little busy past couple of days, but like I said, I'm going to be probably in Discord later today, into tomorrow, maybe selling out of cash, getting into some equities that we like. I guess I could talk about some of the companies that we already bought into. We bought into, I think 8 companies are in our portfolio now. I don't have the laptop in front of me. One pretty safe place we just threw a little bit of money. Again, all these are very low percentage stakes, but we did a U.S. telecommunication play. We bought both AT&T and Verizon. They were trading below 10 times pre-tax earnings for both of those after kind of the recent sell-off you saw a few months ago. And so we thought at that valuation, with the moats those companies have, Verizon and AT&T aren't really going anywhere. So it is on a pre-tax basis, but you can think of those two companies as kind of like a 10% equity bond. So even if those companies don't grow much at all, it's like you bought a company that's yielding 10% a year. And so again, that was probably our safest investment. It was just a good place to transition out of cash and put into durable, profitable companies. We built up some, I would say, some international energy exposure. We bought PBR and PTR. Those are the two ticker symbols. One is the Brazilian oil company, and one is the main Chinese oil company. Just a way to capitalize on some of. Sorry, you guys are hearing the dogs. Way to capitalize on some of the elevated oil prices. We do think that those will stay elevated for some time, even if you saw some geopolitical risk come down and you saw some progress made in the fight between Ukraine and Russia. We don't necessarily think it's going to snap oil prices back down. In fact, one big piece of news I did see is that Russia is really making a play to price their oil in rubles, and they have now made a fixed exchange rate for gold with rubles. And so they've kind of set up this interesting arbitrage opportunity where you can sell dollars for gold to buy oil, or no, excuse me, to exchange your gold for rubles at a valuation that's a lot lower than the U.S. dollar exchange rate for gold. It's kind of how Russia set it up, so that you can exchange that gold now for cheap rubles and then buy cheap oil and gas. Or actually, the only way to buy Russian oil and gas is with their rubles, which have been massively devalued. So probably didn't explain that great, but Russia's setting up this arbitrage opportunity that should drive up for their rubles and could have an effect on the gold market too, because they're kind of using gold as this intermediary exchange. Anyway, we don't see a quick relationships being tied between Russia and the United States, and so it's going to be difficult for energy producers to get back to where they were at those low oil levels. So, and not just that, I mean, even if oil went back to $85 a barrel, which is relatively low, these companies were trading at extremely undervalued valuations. I think PBR was offering like a 13% dividend, and even if their dividend was completely reduced, they're trading at like their trailing PE was like 4. And we just see them being as an extremely profitable company. And both PTR and PBR are by far the largest cap oil producers in Brazil and China. So they kind of have not exactly monopoly, but strong market control. Some other companies we bought. We liked Ford. I think we have some small allocation to the Ford company. We're that's actually a little bit more of a growth play, and I guess it also you could couple that. We bought some shares of Alibaba. Also, I always do this. I'm going to jump in and say this is not financial advice. Do not just go out and buy these stocks because I'm talking about them. But we do like Ford and Alibaba. Both were kind of beaten up. Similar story to kind of crypto 3 months ago. The whole equity sell-off that happened really hit some of those growth companies. And Ford is a player in the EV space. But what surprised us about Ford was their valuation was actually great. It wasn't at all extended, even if you look at their current profitability. Now, car companies aren't as durable necessarily as like when we bought U.S. telecommunications. So Ford and Alibaba are both a little bit riskier plays, but we see a lot of upside in both of those companies. Ford specifically has a couple great EV cars coming out. I'm forgetting the names of them right now. I should probably be booked up on that. But again, even from just a straight up valuation perspective, we thought it was a cheap buy, and we like both Baba and Ford as not just current valuations, but as companies that can really grow their revenue streams. I think that's six, and I think we have a couple other ones we're in are a couple gold producers. Again, all these are very small. If you look at our total portfolio, it was basically just to put some cash into the market with our brokerage account set up. We're going to be continuing to do that quite a bit. But a couple gold producers. I think we did one large cap in Newmont Mining. I think, yeah, Newmont. Ticker symbol is I think NEM, if I'm not mistaken. And then another like junior miner, AUY. Again, both of those are very small. They're kind of, I would say gold mining companies are like a leveraged play at gold, and it gives us a pretty good inflation hedge. If we do continue to see elevated inflation, those companies should really do well because, again, they're mining gold, right? And so if the value of gold goes up considerably, those companies do well. And again, those companies, even at current gold levels, kind of similar with the oil play, are just good value plays, and the fact that their valuation right now is still low. I think they're trading it at a PE of 8 and a dividend yield. Those gold mining stocks are at least considerably better than anywhere else you could put money right now. And I said I didn't know a lot of financial news. I mentioned the Russia thing, but the other recent interesting development in the world of finance is U.S. Treasury yields have spiked, especially last week. There was some, I want to say, I don't know, I'm going to butcher the day, but there was in a single hour, I think yields on the 10-year jumped maybe 15 basis points or something. And so you saw a massive spike to, I think the 10-year Treasury is yielding about 2.5% right now. And I saw just 2 hours ago, the 3-year and 30-year U.S. Treasuries have the same yield. So I think it's a combination of the Federal Reserve looking to raise rates and continue their hawkish speech about trying to quell inflation by raising short-term rates, but long-term bond investors kind of see they kind of, I don't know if they necessarily see a recession coming, but they do see a slowdown coming. Every time the yield curve is inverted, you've seen a recession. So I never know how in depth to get in these spaces because I don't want to go over the head of everybody. I can already imagine Matt downstairs being like, "All right, Austin, nobody knows what you're talking about." But anyway, that was a little bit of if you want to look into that, bond yields for U.S. bonds have increased pretty significantly last year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's kind of a mixed bag of how you can read into those yields bouncing up. But that's a mix of some of the financial news, some of the companies we're in, and like I said, we really want to drive community engagement and involvement in where we're looking to invest. So if anybody has a good idea for a company they like or a place where maybe we should put some money, head over to Discord, head to Dow Proposals for any of you who actually hold Griffins, and we'll research any equity or any investments you guys throw out in there. And if it gets a lot of community interest, we could even do an election. One other piece of internal news, I keep reminding myself of things. We are going to be looking into utilizing DAO platforms, at least for elections, something like Squads. There's some other tools out there. I know there's a Realms is another DAO platform. That'll be a good way to verify how many Griffins you have and give DAO members voting rights proportionate to how many Griffins. Those platforms are really great in general. Some offer airdrop kind of services so that we're doing all the airdrop service in-house for this first reward payment at the end of March, but maybe in the future, especially if we have a lot more members, it may be more practical to have the third-party service provide the airdrop functionality. But anyway, so that's a little bit about us. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to request a speaker role, and we can have a bit of a discussion. Matt, I'll pass it back over to you. Maybe you have some questions.
No, I think you did a good job breaking down some of those investments. Obviously, you're going to go more in depth with the Treasury report on Thursday. They do want to mention that on 10 a.m. Thursday morning, that's March 31st at 10 a.m., we will be taking the screenshot of current Griffin holders, of course, those who minted, and that's going to be the list we use to airdrop holders. So your last moment to mint Griffin before this airdrop and get your reward for the quarter would be at 9:59 a.m., obviously right before 10 a.m., March 31st, and that's in Eastern. So just wanted to throw that out there. That's an important time. Of course, we're going to get that screenshot in, and then pretty soon afterwards, we'll be sending those airdrops out. Austin will be taking care of that, and that's really exciting. We can actually start to reward you guys for your involvement with Griffin. Obviously, like I said, this first airdrop is going to be a bit larger, I think, than our average will be. Our average is going to be based on our earnings, and of course, we just started investing last week, so we can't base this airdrop off earnings. We're just doing a flat rate. But yeah, it's going to be really exciting. I'm happy to see everyone get the reward. We're also structuring something in place to reward people based on activity in our Discord. We did just implement a bot that keeps track of rank based on activity. So internally, we're figuring out how to actually reward you guys for being active on there. Besides that, I don't have too much more news. We will be, as I've said this before, but we will be in Hacker House in Miami on the 5th, and on the 22nd, the team will be up in Gainesville, Florida, recruiting actively at it's called the Digital Worlds Institute, which is one of the best schools for anything to do with blockchain technologies, UI, UX, that's user interface, user experience. And that's actually where Austin and I both graduated from, is the University of Florida. So we have some connections there. We're going to see about bringing on some interns for the summer. Been in contact with an administration there. So we'll see what we can do. The goal is to bring on people that are very excited about the space, that are optimistic and visionary, and are seeing new ways on how to do things. And we think some of those minds in that school really can benefit the team and the community as a whole. So we'll keep you updated on that trip. A lot going on internally. I know we've been a little bit quieter the past couple of days. It's just been a lot of organizing the weeks ahead, and it's about 30 minutes in. It's too bad we couldn't speak to Particles today. We're gonna have to try to reschedule something or see what's up. Maybe they slept through the call. I know they're out on the West Coast, but we'll wrap it up here. If there's any questions, feel free to request a mic, and we'll throw you up here. Otherwise, if Austin, if any final points, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody about the space on Wednesday. If you can make it over to Moon Roving's Heat Space, like Matt said, they regularly have well over 100 people, sometimes a couple hundred listeners on Twitter in the space, and then a lot of connections come out of it afterwards. So if you can come over and support, we're basically going to be pitching the idea, talking about our team and what we've done so far and what we look to continue to build at Griffin. So that'll be a great place for us to go. And then, like I said, the big space that I'm prepping for now is Thursday, putting together the reports, putting together that airdrop. Like Matt said, the screenshot is going to happen at 10 a.m. and the payment may not come immediately. It may take a little bit of time to get the payment out, but it will come that day. And the reports, I think we'll probably release the reports at 10 a.m. along with the screenshot that'll mention not just what the actual reward amount is, but also have all the different financial statements involved. And then our space will happen shortly after that. Matt, what time is that? 11, 1? What time is that on Thursday?
1 p.m. Thursday.
Yeah, Eastern time, by the way, for everybody around there. So 1 p.m. Eastern time for our space on Thursday, where we'll be going over, along with these financial statements, there'll be a commentary from management. And I think we may post that management commentary as a standalone blog post in Medium, or at least pieces of it, and then other pieces maybe about some of our specific investments. And again, it's pretty short term so far. We haven't had a brokerage account for very long, so a lot of the commentary will more be a rationale behind why we've increased some exposure. But also, these quarterly reports will include community growth size and data about our members and our activity and what we've seen as far as even to things such as Twitter following and stuff. We'll at least maybe comment on how many active members we see and how many followers we gained, that sort of thing. So we're very excited to put that together, and I think it'll help. It'll just help as once we've published that to be able to refer back to it too as we continue to grow, and something that new members can look at. Anyway, like I said, I'm very excited for Thursday. I'll be preparing for it for the next few days.
Yeah, Jason, I saw you requested. Go ahead if you have any questions or comments.
Hey guys, so Austin basically just answered what my question was, so good job covering that. You mentioned that you'll be discussing where the investments have been on Thursday. I guess that was really it, but I like the community investment group that you guys have put together. Hopefully we can see more people growing. Is there any souls still being offered? I think you said till the end of the month, correct?
Yeah, you mean
Sorry, I meant NFTs.
yes, yeah. So our mint is open till the end of May, actually. If we see a massive spread in intrinsic value and the price that we're selling into new members at, we can update the price pretty easily. Right now, there isn't a large spread. We also won't ever be lowering the price, right? Because again, it's not just the investment vehicle. As we raise this initial funding, we are trying to build in value from a community-oriented a community piece, right? So we really want this to be a place that people are proud to come be a part of, and then not just to communicate with each other and bounce ideas off of each other, but also take part in the collective asset allocation process and provide investment ideas. So if our Griffins are selling above their intrinsic values on a treasury equity perspective, then that's okay, because I think we can justify the higher price level on the value perspective or the value proposition we're bringing. The problem comes if we're allowing new members to buy in at a much lower valuation than what our treasury portfolio holds. If that's the case, then we don't want our old members to be diluted by new members coming in paying at a discount. So again, Matt's probably like, Austin, you don't need to go in such detail, but we don't expect it to be a problem. But if it does a problem over the course of the next couple months, we may have to fluctuate the price a little bit to basically cut out that arbitrage opportunity for new members. But yeah, so NFTs will be available till the end of May. We'll continue to be doing our thing with investments, and as I keep saying, I really want to try to make this a generative process. So if anybody has any discussions they'd like to put as far as an investment side, you can make a formal proposal in DAO proposals, or you can just talk about it either in general or member chat on Discord. So looking forward to seeing some of that.
Yeah, Austin, I'm never gonna talk you down. You do what you got to do, man. You explained that well. So thank you for going a little bit more in depth into that and how that's working on our end.
Yeah, I've been told I have a tendency to get into the weeds sometimes, and so anyway, you just interrupt me if I'm ever going too far down the rabbit hole, Matt.
No, I love these internal spaces where it's like just the Griffin crew, because I think we're all used to getting a little bit deeper into the conversation, and in general I'm okay. I love that when it's just like Griffin. If we have like a guest on, I think that's the only time that we want to be careful of their time and possibly their understanding on the investment end. But I think everyone here is super involved with the investing and really loves to hear the details and hear you get in the weeds. So thank you for doing that, bro. Anywho, we're gonna wrap it up here. About 35 minutes in to the space. Like I said, I pinned above the tweet that Moonroving made about our next space with him. That's going to be Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Definitely go ahead and like that tweet, and keep in mind he's probably going to be sharing the link to that the day of, because he does daily spaces twice a day. Actually, he does a morning show and a late show. So don't expect to get that link until let's say midday on Wednesday. But yeah, guys, thank you for being here. We'll talk again soon. Our next space is Wednesday with Moonroving, and we'll be providing those updates about our treasury on Thursday. So a lot going on, a lot of exciting stuff. Thank you guys for being here early, and we'll talk again soon. All right, everyone have a good day. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
and keep in mind, he's probably going to be sharing the link to that the day of, because he does daily spaces twice a day. Actually, he does a morning show and a late show. So don't expect to get that link, until let's say midday on Wednesday. But yeah, guys, thank you for being here. We'll talk again soon. Our next space is Wednesday with moon roving, and we'll be providing those updates about our treasury on Thursday. So a lot going on, a lot of exciting stuff. Thank you guys for being here early, and we'll talk again soon. All right, everyone have a good day.
Griffin Investments DAO. Join the path on Discord.